So I just finished reading The Alchemist for like the fourth time in the Not Dead Yet, I guess, book club. And I always find it really interesting at the end of the book when the main character, now I'm not going to spoil it for everybody, I suppose, but when the main character comes to the realization of discovering their personal legend and what it is they want to achieve or accomplish in their life, whatever goal they have. And in this case, our character's searching for his personal legend, right? And I can't help but think that it should probably be required in like college courses, because in engaging with the college students that I have, that I'm working with, at least the throwers, I just find it interesting that I spend a lot of time talking to them about expectations and reality and goals and what they want to accomplish and why it's important to them. But I still feel like for some reason, and I've talked to a lot of other coaches about this, and I find it really interesting, is that despite having an idea of where they want to go, the athletes, and despite having a relatively nice support group, right? Your coach, your teammates, right? Friends, family, that there's still, pronouns pal, that the athletes and even other like post-collegiate athletes that I work with, or other adults I work with mindset coaching and what have you, I just find it really interesting that despite having all of the tools provided to them, that there's still some trepidation on their part. And I was talking to somebody about it yesterday, and sometimes I wonder if accomplishing the goal is actually scarier than casting the nets to try and catch it, charting the path, knowing what you have to do, following the steps, and the recipe is going to be different for everybody, right? The ingredients are going to be a little different, but I often wonder if there's a fear of wanting to accomplish the goal, and why some people never achieve their goals or their personal legends, as is discussed in The Alchemist. And somebody posted a question in the chat about it, in the Not Dead Yet chat, about the swerve at the end of the book and how our personal legend comes to fruition. And I feel as though, from a coach's perspective, that I think there's so much we could do to help our athletes get where they want to go. Like, I think there's really a fine line between, and I've had other coaches say this before, that they basically there's only so much we can do, right? We're not magicians, but we're magicians in a certain sense, in a certain respect. But if accomplishing the goal is scarier than, I don't know, because then once you accomplish your goals, right, if you don't have something else, if you don't have a larger vision for yourself, then what's left, right? Like, what do? You just keep kind of like chasing ghosts. And I've talked about that in the past too. Like, are we chasing ghosts? Are we just kind of like going through the motions of life? Like, what is it? And for me, as far as coaching, right, and I've shared this before, I want to illuminate a path for my kids, right? I want to show them that there is a way to get where they want to go. Now, we can chart the path together, we can collaborate, I can provide all the tools necessary. However, there's really not much else I can do to do the work besides more of the behind the scenes stuff, right? The interpersonal relationships, build trust, communication, share my philosophy, how we're going to get there, and so on. But I do think with some of the athletes that I've worked with over the years that there was a little bit of trepidation of like, okay, like I hit this mark and then what? Or I don't know, accomplish this goal and then like I don't have anything else to work towards because I accomplished what I said I was going to accomplish. And I just think about that stuff sometimes. And I don't know if it's more life things or what has been going on in the dumpster fire over here. Although it is smoldering now. But what is it about that goal-setting personal legend stuff that kind of gets people hung up on things? And it's just really fascinating to me. The more coaches I talk to, the more basically, I don't know, anybody that I have a conversation with, engage with about this stuff. It's always fascinating to me of how some people are just able to keep the momentum going. And they have this intrinsic motivation. And it's not even really motivation per se, because that only lasts so long, right? You can only get fired up so much. You can only do so much to keep that part of, I don't know, your interest engaged. That's kind of like the same thing. But I don't know, I just find it interesting. The more like thinking about it and just kind of trying to help people and get people where they want to go, that sometimes there's a little bit of, resistance with that stuff, and that there isn't, I don't know what I'm trying to say, that there's a reluctancy to move forward, maybe possibly out of the fear of actually accomplishing the goal, right? Who knows?